See, all new at 6 tonight, a 30-minute nightmare for that couple that grew more and more violent every second.
And they said at times they feared for their lives. This chaotic scene unfolding in the middle of a street, Enclave Parkway in West Houston. And that's where our Andy Sirota is live tonight. And Andy, they say they weren't provoking this crowd. They were just trying to get home.
I mean, just trying to get home, Dominique. Can you believe it? But there were so many people standing in this intersection here behind me and so many cars. The couple seriously questioned whether they'd be able to escape with their lives. A daring escape for one couple and their dog from cars, crowds, and chaos.
Now that you watch the video, you're like, whoa, this guy actually shot at us. He didn't mind if he killed us.
That's Betty, her fiance, and their dog in the red car moments earlier, just trying to get home. Caught smack dab in the middle of a street takeover early Sunday morning.
We didn't have a path to get out, and there was cars still doing donuts in the middle of the street. The guy on the megaphone came to my side of the window, asked if we wanted to leave. I nodded.
But with as many as 100 people here, they couldn't see a way out.
All of a sudden, I picked up my phone because it lit up, obviously, because it dropped under the seat. I picked it up, and the guy on the megaphone says, "She's calling the police, she's calling the police."
The mob got angry and started banging on their car.
Somebody broke our glass and our windshield, and I was like, we're gonna die. This is our night. This is the night I'm gonna die.
But they found a way out and took it. KPRC2 Investigates uncovered street takeovers and parking lot mayhem happening on an almost nightly basis in neighborhoods all across the Houston area. This is video from a Cypress supermarket parking lot.
That shot, bullet hadn't changed its course, it would have gone to my baby. I know she's a dog, but she's my world, and it would have hit her, and then it would have hit me in the passenger seat.
Houston police telling us they received calls for service to this location during the street takeover. The case is now under investigation. Reporting live in West Houston, Andy Sirota, KPRC2 News.
At a pediatrician's office in Texas that ended in tragedy. The gunman with terminal cancer killed a doctor, a mother of 3, before turning the gun on himself. Marcus Moore has the story.
This morning, a city grieving as investigators try to figure out what led to a hostage standoff and murder-suicide. Tuesday afternoon, Austin, Texas police officers responded to reports that a man now identified as Dr. Bharat Narumanchi was holding 5 workers hostage at a pediatric doctor's office.
There were no patients or children that were at the building when the suspect arrived on scene.
Police say Narumanchi had multiple guns when he walked into the building.
He displayed a gun and told the hostages to tie themselves up. Some of the hostages were able to escape, and some of them were ultimately released.
The doctor's still inside with the suspect.
The last hostage, 43-year-old Dr. Catherine Lindley Dodson, a mother of 3, could not escape. For hours, negotiators tried speaking with Narumanchi, but when SWAT finally entered that building, both doctors were found dead.
Our hearts are just in a place that we can't even describe how sad we are.
Overnight, members of the community reflecting on Dr. Dodson's impact.
As a physician, you're ready to sacrifice your life and your time and your talents for people, and that's exactly what she did. She's a true hero.
The Dodson family sharing a statement saying, as a dedicated mom, wife, daughter, friend, and pediatrician, she radiated light, love, and joy in everything she did and everyone she touched. Authorities say the 43-year-old suspect, also a pediatrician, had applied to volunteer at Dodson's office about a week before, but was turned down. Investigators also say he was recently diagnosed with terminal cancer and given weeks to live. And investigators believe that cancer diagnosis may have played a role in what happened here, but they simply don't know for sure at this point. George, as this community continues to mourn.
Such a horrible story. Okay, Marcus, thanks very much.
A 22-year-old man told him to get a job so he could take care of himself. Her son's response? He shot her dead. That's according to police and the victim's brother. News 4's Gabi Acevedo is live outside the scene in East Harlem now, and he talked to distraught family members about this. Gabi.
Adam, your description, although tragic, is precise. Police say that 22-year-old Musa Camara shot his own mother in the head. Now, family members told us that the mother and her son had recently been arguing, as you mentioned, Adam, over him getting a job. The victim's brother, the uncle, wants no mercy for his nephew. Family and friends huddled in grief at Lehman Village houses. Fatoumata Denson was a mother of 8. Police say one of her children, Musa Camara, shot and killed her around 9 this morning. The uncle wants justice.
I want him to go rest of his life in prison.
Danson arrived in New York City more than 25 years ago.
Lovely sister. She don't have no, she kind to the entire family, let's say kind to everybody. She always smile and laugh.
Today, she was found dead in her 15th floor apartment. According to witnesses, Musa Camara shot her in the head and ran away. Citizen app video shows the moment police arrested him on 108th Street and Madison Avenue.
He got arrested with the weapon. I don't know the size of what kind of weapon it is, but he got arrested with the weapon.
Family members say Fatoumata had recently pressed her son to find a job, and on several occasions things got heated. A grieving brother, now lamenting the untimely death of his little sister, says he will never forgive his troubled nephew.
Come and look for better life, and she got killed by her own son, which is Musa Camara. My nephew, I want him to go life in prison. No mercy for him.
Police say that Camara was taken to a hospital for a psychiatric evaluation. We are still awaiting word on charges. Reporting live from East Harlem, Gaby Acevedo, News 4 New York.
Warning from the Department of Homeland Security, growing threats of violence from homegrown extremists in the wake of the Capitol siege. It's the first national terrorism advisory from DHS in a year. Our Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas is in Washington with the latest. Good morning, Pierre.
George, good morning. Alarmed by that violent insurrection at the Capitol and a steady stream of new intelligence, some authorities fear that the threat of domestic terrorism right now is as high as it's been in recent memory.
This morning, the nation on alert. Homeland Security issuing a rare urgent bulletin warning the public and police that the threat from domestic terror is high. According to the new bulletin, right-wing militants and lone wolves may target elected officials and government facilities, and may be emboldened by the January 6th breach of the U.S. Capitol.
They are out there, they're angry, they're disenfranchised, they're upset that President Trump lost.
In a sign this threat is real, the FBI now announcing charges against Ian Rogers after authorities say they discovered an arsenal of 49 firearms and 5 fully functional pipe bombs after searching his home and business. The FBI claims Rogers was angry because President Trump lost and was preparing for an attack, allegedly texting, "I want to blow up a Democrat building bad. I hope 45, President Trump, goes to war. If he doesn't, I will." An attorney for Rogers says nothing indicates that he was actually planning an attack. But according to an FBI affidavit, authorities fear that Rogers of Napa may have had his sights on the California governor's office after recovering threatening text messages on his phone. Law enforcement on edge across the country as the FBI races to arrest all those who staged the insurrection on Capitol Hill. The massive scale of the probe becoming clearer. 400 suspects identified, hundreds more under investigation.
And in a startling conspiracy indictment released last night, Justice Department prosecutors claimed that some militia members were planning a response to Trump's loss as early as November and suggested a team as large as 40 members coordinated during the attack on the Capitol. We have been told sedition charges could be coming, Robin.
Tense times continue. All right, Pierre, thank you.
FBI has found dozens of missing children in Los Angeles. It's all part of what's being called Operation Lost Angels. The operation involved the LAPD, the LA County Sheriff's Department, and 24 other local agencies. Of the 33 children found, 8 were being sexually exploited or trafficked. All were between the ages of 13 and 17. Now, the operation also resulted in the arrest of a suspected human trafficker. Multiple other investigations have been started as well. The FBI says rescuing the victims is just the first step in the recovery process.
Breaking news we first brought you on News 4 at 4. The arrest of an accused serial killer. The NYPD says the man you see right here lives in a public housing building in Brooklyn, the same NYCHA building where police say he killed 3 seniors over the course of the last 5 years. News 4's Ida Siegel has been covering this tonight. She is live outside the Brooklyn Criminal Court. Ida.
Yeah, David, this is one of those stories that had people in the neighborhood gasping to learn that they were living next door to a potential violent serial killer. And now the victims' families are banding together to ask why it took investigators so long to put it all together. In handcuffs tonight, 66-year-old Kevin Gavin, an accused serial murderer who police say went after elderly women in his building. 3 families were given devastating news.
I'm heartbroken. My mother was brutally murdered. I'm sorry, this is tough on me. Still fresh.
Police say the murders happened in the Woodson houses, the first one back in 2015. Then 82-year-old Myrtle McKenney was originally thought to have died from natural causes until investigators found knife wounds on her neck. In 2019, 83-year-old Jacolia James was found by her grandson with injuries to her face and neck. And then just last Friday, 78-year-old Juanita Caballero was found by her own son with a telephone cord wrapped around her neck.
The night till you called, gave us your condolences. We don't want that. We want justice.
Police believe the motive was financial. Gavin used to run errands for all 3 women, but in each case, something seems to have gone wrong.
I'm confident that the defendant took advantage of his relationship with these women, were allowed into their homes, and did unspeakable acts of violence against them.
Police say Gavin had been on their radar, but only recently did they connect him to all 3 murders.
Some forensic evidence came back that helped strengthen our leads towards him.
Meanwhile, local leaders want to know why a man right under their noses, living so close to his alleged victims, took so long to arrest.
I hope that the guy that they caught, or whoever that person may be, is prosecuted, so my family and their family can have closure.
Investigators say they're now looking to see if Gavin might have been involved in other crimes. So far, they have not been able to make that connection. Meanwhile, Gavin will go before a grand jury, according to prosecutors. Reporting live from downtown Brooklyn, Ida Siegel, News 4, New York.